10 rules to become a good tank in 5v5 combat. Becoming a pro tank in 5v5 combat is seriously cool and impactful. You're on the front lines, always making heroic plays. Whether it's saving teammates or crushing the enemy mercilessly, a lot of new players jump into the tank role without really understanding it, which often puts their team under pressure. This guide will help you grasp the role and become an unshakable tank one. Know your weapon strengths right now. Most people are running with either a heavy mace or a great hammer. Quarterstaffs are kinda out of style because they're not as flexible. You're rocking a heavy mace. Your big strength is purging your opponents. This skill is pretty busted because it purges everything in its path, including those pesky healing stacks, but if you're using a great hammer, you can really annoy the other team. Its skills have fast cooldowns, and you can reposition both your allies and enemies, which makes it super versatile too. Understand your positioning. A lot of new tanks think their only job is to constantly dive into the enemy backline. But guess what? You're actually throwing everything away for nothing. Imagine you're a Roman legionnaire, a shield bearer at the front, protecting the archers behind you. If you hold your ground long enough, your archers can keep firing endlessly. But what happens if you break formation and rush off alone while the battle's still raging? You will die like a lone soldier, and anyone who follows you will die too. So stand your ground like a wall, soaking up damage for your backline. Sometimes you don't even need to do anything but absorb damage for them. That's part of your job. You're a tank, geared up in heavy armor, and using defensive food, so you can take a beating much longer than your squishier teammates 3. Track healing stacks. Since you've got your positioning down, always try to stay in a spot where you consistently get healing stacks. If you have all 3 stacks, you can comfortably tank damage while your HP regenerates. It'll look like your health barely drops. But if you just charge forward without paying attention to this, your team's wall is going to crumble. For know when to engage and when to disengage. Free fight usually kicks off with the tank making a move. You need to be ready and keep track of what skills the enemy tank has used and what they still have, like stuns or purges. When the enemy tank makes a move, like a stun or snare charge, analyze the situation. Should you attack or defend? If the enemy tank is shutting down your DPS, you need to see who's focusing your DPS. If the enemy backline's range allows them to hit your DPS, you have to stop them without hesitation. If you don't have a reliable stop, your teammates could take massive damage and die summarily. When your backline is ready to attack someone, you can decide to use a skill to help them with their engage 5. Smart target selection. This is super important for tanks. A lot of new tanks just use their skills aimlessly, often focusing only on shutting down the healer. But that's the wrong way to play. You're letting 3 enemy DPS characters wail on your team. You need to analyze the situation and figure out which target is the best one to shut down. Whether it's to let your DPS go in immediately or to prevent the enemy from bursting your team down. You should only go for the healer when their DPS are far from them. That allows you to use some skills to interrupt the healer. But don't blow everything. A healer might escape with just one skill, like mercenary shoes or clothes. If that happens and you've used all your abilities, your team is in for a disaster because you'll be useless for a while. 6. Understand duty reset timing. You gotta practice predicting when both your healer and the enemy healer's cooldowns will reset, because this is key to winning fights. If your healer is about to reset, you should be ready to drop your duty on the ground for all your teammates. This is a fantastic counterattack because the HP regen is high, and you get a defensive buff too. So, when your healer has about 3 seconds left on their cooldown, you need to be ready and position biased reset timing. When else can you drop duty? When your MDPS is in trouble and your team can use a Graveguard helmet on them, you can drop it on the front line for them immediately, and both of you can stand as a wall, soaking up damage within the duty 7, slowing down enemy heal since you know reset timing. This rule is crucial for a tank's job. It can literally decide whether you win or lose the turn of the fight. There are several ways to slow down healers, using Hood of Tenacity on the enemy healer while they're resetting. This reduces their healing cast by 50%, putting the enemy in a really bad spot. Dropping Hood of Tenacity and moving a low HP target out of their reset zone putting them into a debuff while the enemy retreats. This forces their healer to come back to heal the target you moved, purging a target with 3 stacks while they have a protection of nature buff. This will seriously mess with the enemy healer rate. Know how Bridgewatch Cape works? Bridgewatch Cape is so powerful it can practically one-shot someone because it drastically reduces the enemy's CC resistance. That means stuns last longer, knockbacks go farther, and debuffs stick around longer. A Great Hammer stun combined with a Bridgewatch Cape can pretty much kill an enemy in one turn if they can't cleanse or get out of the stun. It lasts long enough to send them right back to base. Dustweaver boots with a Bridgewatch Cape can send opponents flying to the ends of the earth and stun them long enough to respawn at base. So, practice your combos with your chosen weapon now. Master key defensive skills here. Crucial defensive skills are your boots, robe, and potion. If you're planning a full engage on someone, you need to know what skills they've already used. This makes it much easier to calculate your damage per second. If you commit to a full combo and they just use their boots to escape, your team might lose that turn of the fight rate to lure the enemy into dangerous spots to force them to use their skills. Then wait for the next rotation to go for the full combo tail. Communication is king. Everything in this game is about teamwork. If you stay silent and don't communicate, no matter how talented or skilled you are, you won't be able to help your team effectively. Once you understand all these points, you can communicate what's right and wrong with your teammates. These information might not be exhaustive because there are a lot of details. I'll make separate videos to deep dive into specific weapons, like how to initiate fights, mind games, baiting enemy positions. But all of this should definitely make you a stronger player. Hope this video helps you all out and makes 5v5 more fun. If you have any questions or want recommendations for other roles, feel free to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.